Do not follow the Lamb for comfort. Follow him into the fire, where obedience is proved, and faith is stripped of all softness. You were not called to sit among the ashes and pray for the wind to cool. You were called to walk through the blaze and trust that what survives is eternal. For the fire is not your enemy, it is your witness. It will testify of what was true in you and what was false. Every man speaks of faith when the sky is calm, but only those who walk through flame will know what their words were worth. In the days of old, 3 stood before the furnace, and the world mocked their refusal to bow. But when they fell into the flame, the fire could not consume what obedience had already purified. The furnace did not reveal their weakness, it revealed the presence that walked with them. Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and the 4th is like unto the Son of God. Daniel, chapter 3, verse 25. So it is with you. When you follow the Lamb, you do not walk alone. The world will see a man in flame, but heaven will see a man refined. Do you hear the voice that calls beyond the comfort? It is not a voice that flatters, nor one that bargains. It calls from the mountain where the altar burns, from the valley where the bones still wait for breath. It calls from the throne that judges the nations, and from the silence where God still whispers to those who have not bowed to Babylon. You feel it, don't you? That pressure that breaks the weak, but builds the faithful. The holy weight that bends the knee, but never the will. Are you the flame or the ash? The vessel that endures or the dust that flees? The follower who walks when the fire rises, or the one who prays for a softer road? Every generation has heard this question, but few have stood long enough to answer it with their life. For the Lamb does not lead his own beside still waters alone. He leads them into battlefields of the Spirit, through the smoke of cities that once trusted their own strength, through the wilderness where pride starves and obedience begins. You must learn to see as heaven sees, not the heat, but the holiness within it. The fire is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to divide you, to separate the false gold from the true, the servant from the spectator, the oath from the emotion. Even now, the flame draws near, not to harm, but to test. For the kingdom is not built on comfort, it is built on the cost of obedience. The Lamb did not hide from the furnace. He entered it first. He was the fire and the sacrifice. He did not call his followers to a garden of ease, but to a cross that split the heavens in 2. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Luke, chapter 9, verse 23. Do you see? To follow the Lamb is to walk willingly into the furnace of obedience, to burn with a love that no flame can extinguish. And yet, the world still builds altars to comfort. They clothe fear in wisdom and call disobedience humility. They praise the ashes and fear the flame. But the faithful, the nameless ones, they know that comfort is the enemy of conviction. They walk where others run, kneel where others fall, and sing while the fire consumes their name. You were not chosen for comfort. You were chosen for covenant. For in the furnace, every vow becomes visible. Your words ignite, your motives melt, your faith stands alone. It is there that heaven sees you, and hell fears you. Do not resist the fire. He shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3. When the refiner sits, he does not move. He watches until his reflection is seen in the metal, and only then does he remove it from the flame. So it is with you. He watches. He waits. He burns away every impurity until his image appears in your soul. That is the price of following the Lamb. Not applause, but purification. You are being forged in silence, tempered in the furnace of obedience, and sealed with the mark of endurance. This is not punishment. It is preparation. For those who endure will not merely survive. They will become the testimony of the fire itself. And when the smoke clears, when the world wonders how you still stand, you will know it was never you who endured the flame. It was the flame that endured in you. The fire fades, but the echo remains. In the stillness between breath and ash, a whisper moves, quiet as the wind through broken stone. It does not command, it calls, and to those who still stand within the glow, it speaks. Be still and listen. The fire has done its work. The noise of the crowd is gone. What remains is silence, the kind that strips a man of everything but truth. You stand where many turned back. No banners now, no chorus, only the faint hum of faith still breathing beneath the ash. It is here, in this stillness, that heaven speaks, not in thunder, but in a whisper that trembles the bones. Do not mistake silence for absence. God hides not because he has left, but because he is shaping what words would only weaken. As it was with Elijah, when the wind tore the mountains and the fire passed before him, yet the Lord was not in them, but in the still small voice that followed. 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. And in that silence the prophet learned what every warrior must, that obedience does not always roar, sometimes it waits. You have been taught to act, to strike, to stand. But now you must learn to listen. For the greatest strength is not the hand that wields the sword, but the spirit that kneels before the unseen command. When God is silent, he is sharpening you. Every unanswered prayer, every quiet night of the soul is a hammer shaping faith from fear. What do you still carry that cannot enter the fire? What voice within you still argues with the one that made you? Lay it down. Let the silence speak. The warrior priest does not demand understanding. He stands before mystery as before the altar, head bowed, sword lowered. He does not pray for comfort, for he knows comfort is the death of calling. He prays for clarity, for the will to obey when every light is gone. Do you remember the garden where the Lamb once knelt? Not in peace, but in pressure, not surrounded by angels, but by those who would soon flee. He sweat blood while heaven held its breath. And still he said, "Not my will, but thine be done." Luke, chapter 22, verse 42. That is the voice you must follow, not the voice that promises escape, but the one that commands endurance. Silence is the crucible of covenant. It burns away the need to be seen. It teaches the soul to love obedience for its own sake. For if you only trust when he speaks, then you have not yet learned to follow when he moves unseen. Listen closely. You will hear the rhythm of your own heart echo the pulse of eternity. Every beat says, "Wait." Every breath says, "Trust." And though the night is long, the dawn does not delay. Faith is not a feeling that visits the faithful. It is the flame that endures when all feeling dies. It is the quiet oath whispered in the ashes, "I will not turn back." That is the creed of the nameless, the ones who walk unseen but are known in heaven. You have been taught that silence is empty, but silence is where obedience is weighed. Every saint, every prophet, every warrior that ever stood before God has first stood in the silence between command and completion. Do not fear it, embrace it. In returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah, Chapter 30, verse 15. Let that strength rise within you now. Not noise, not zeal, stillness. The kind that terrifies darkness because it cannot be moved. The kind that makes demons remember who they once served. You are not abandoned in the silence. You are being anointed by it. Every holy man is born there. Every true disciple is tempered there. And when the voice returns, it will not come to comfort you. It will come to send you. For the fire prepares, but the silence commands. The furnace purifies, but the whisper directs. Only those who have endured both can bear the banner of the Lamb. So wait. Wait without despair. Wait until every lesser voice fades. And when only the divine breath remains, listen and obey. The silence shatters. A wind rises again, not soft, but holy, heavy as judgment. The time of stillness ends. The whisper becomes a command, and the command becomes a march. The voice speaks once more. Go forth, not for comfort, but for conquest of the self. The fire walks before you. The silence breaks, like iron struck upon stone. The command has come, not whispered this time, but spoken with fire. And those who have waited in stillness now rise, their armor gleaming with the reflection of the altar's flame. This is not the march of the proud, but of the vowed. Each step is covenant. Each breath is obedience made visible. The banner of the Lord does not wave above the crowd. It moves with the remnant, the ones who have died to comfort. They are the silent procession of those who no longer need applause, for they march beneath a higher witness. You feel the ground tremble beneath your vow. The world will call you relic, fanatic, fool, but heaven calls you Templar, consecrated steel in a faithless age, sworn to purity where compromise rules. You are not here to win by the sword, but to become the sword, the instrument of holy discipline. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. So you take up the shield of faith, not polished but scarred. You fasten the belt of truth, not for show, but for war. You draw the blade of the Spirit, not to wound flesh, but to divide falsehood from the soul that hides it. The furnace has not ended. It has only moved within you. You carry it now, a holy fire sealed beneath armor. And wherever you march, the air shivers. For the world fears men who cannot be bought, and hell remembers those who cannot be broken. The Templar does not chase victory. He kneels before command, and victory follows him like a shadow. He does not pray for lighter burdens, but for broader shoulders. He does not ask why the road is narrow. He thanks God it still leads upward. Rise, follow, endure the fire. Let the world see what faith looks like when comfort is gone. Let obedience be your language and silence your crown. Lift your eyes to the mount of obedience, the same where Abraham raised his hand, the same where the Lamb was lifted high. That is the hill every Templar must climb, not to conquer nations, but to crucify pride. The battle before you is not of flesh and blood. It is fought in hidden places, between will and surrender, between fear and faith, between what you were and what you are being forged to become. The furnace of obedience burns there, unseen, and every moment of submission fans its flame. Do not step back when the heat rises. Remember the sons of Judah who walked unharmed in the fire. Remember the Christ who entered death and broke it from within. Remember the oath you carry in silence, that you would follow the Lamb, not for comfort, but for the crown that comes only through flame. They overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. That is the creed of the Templar. Not comfort, not ease, not safety. Victory through surrender, glory through obedience, life through death. Now rise, knight of the unseen kingdom. The furnace awaits no coward. The march has begun. Your oath is your weapon, your endurance, your song. Walk through the smoke with eyes fixed on the unseen captain. Follow the Lamb into fire, and do not look back. The march fades into horizon light. Armor glows red with the reflection of the forge. Every heartbeat now echoes one word: endure. And from the distance, through wind, through ash, through the sound of shattering idols, a voice returns, clear and solemn. The furnace was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal who you serve. The march ends where every vow must lead, before the throne, before the fire, before the eyes that see all. You kneel not as a conqueror, but as one who has been conquered by grace. Every scar becomes a psalm. Every silence becomes a prayer. Every battle becomes an offering. You came through the furnace stripped of all softness, and what remains is gold. Not the gold of this earth, but the metal of endurance, the brightness of faith proved true. For the flame you feared has now become the light that guides you. The same fire that once burned your pride now warms your purpose. The same heat that once exposed your weakness has become the glow of your anointing. You stand at last where the Lamb stands, not upon a throne of marble, but upon the ashes of obedience fulfilled. He does not ask for your victory. He asks for your loyalty. He does not crown the successful. He crowns the steadfast. And as you bow your head, you hear the words that no comfort ever gave. Well done, good and faithful servant. Matthew, chapter 25, verse 23. This is the reward of the Templar, not gold, not rest, but communion. To be bound forever to the one you followed through fire. To look upon the face that was once hidden by smoke. To realize that the journey was not about reaching heaven, but about becoming its reflection. Now the crown burns with the same flame that once tested you, and you understand. The furnace was not punishment, but preparation. Every trial was a translation, every command a carving of your soul into the likeness of the Lamb. You are not what you were when the fire began. You are what the fire could not burn away. Lift your eyes. The battlefield is silent now. The armor that once clattered with struggle now shines with peace. The cross you carried has not vanished. It has become your crown. The sword you once raised in war now rests as an emblem of worship. For the true Templar conquers not by wrath, but by surrender sanctified in steel. The world below still rages, Babylon still builds its towers, and the proud still call the fire cruel. But the remnant knows. They know the path that leads through the furnace ends at the throne. They know obedience is not chains, but wings. They know faith is not a weapon of conquest, but a covenant sealed in flame. You, Templar of the unseen order, bear now the mark of the fire. You are both wound and weapon, both servant and sentinel. The world will not understand the calm that dwells in your eyes. They will see only the scars, not the sanctification. Let them misunderstand. For your faith was never built for their applause. It was forged for His approval. The Lamb stands before you, scarred, radiant, eternal. And as the light of His wounds fills the chamber, every pain you carried finds its meaning. You followed Him through the fire, and in doing so, you learned that love itself is flame. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation, chapter 21, verse 5. All things, even the ashes, even you. So rise one final time, Templar of obedience. Do not let the crown make you forget the fire, for the world will still need the witness of the flame. Go, carry it with you, not as pride, but as proof that holiness still walks among men. Be the quiet light in the smoke. Be the steadfast soul in the storm. Be the living altar where heaven and earth still meet. And when the night returns, as it always does, when the next battle calls your name, you will not fear the fire, for you have walked with it and lived. You will not beg for comfort, for you have known the company of the Lamb, and you will not seek escape. For you were never made to flee, but to stand. So stand. Stand as one whose armor remembers every flame. Stand as one whose silence still echoes with obedience. Stand as one who follows the Lamb, not for comfort, but for covenant, for calling, for the crown that burns yet does not consume. For in the end, that is the highest honor, not to escape the fire, but to become its light. The voice fades into the sound of distant bells, low and solemn, as a single line remains, carved into silence itself. Do not follow the Lamb for comfort. Follow him into the fire. For the fire is where faith becomes eternal.